You click a website. Nothing seems unusual. The page appears. You continue scrolling. The entire experience feels almost instant. So instant that most people never ask a simple question. What actually happened between the click and the page? Because your click never travels directly to a website. It begins a journey across neighborhoods, cities, countries, sometimes entire oceans. Your request will meet machines you never knew existed, systems that make decisions in milliseconds, networks that choose the fastest path, security layers that verify your identity, cloud platforms preparing information before you even ask for it. Thousands of invisible operations, all triggered by one small click. And perhaps the most remarkable part is that this entire journey usually finishes before you can blink. The internet feels fast because billions of invisible decisions happen at extraordinary speed. But speed is only the final result. The real story is everything happening underneath, and that journey starts much closer to you than you might imagine.
The moment you click, your computer begins creating a request. Not a web page, not an image, not a video, just a simple question. Where is this website? Computers cannot understand names. They understand numbers. Every website has an address, not the one you type, another one, an invisible address known only to machines. Your device doesn't know that address, not yet. So before anything else can happen, it needs to ask. That single question begins one of the fastest conversations on Earth, a conversation that happens billions of times every single day, without anyone noticing. Because before information can travel, the destination must first be discovered.
Imagine sending a letter. You cannot deliver it without knowing the address. The internet faces the same problem. Every request needs a destination. Every destination needs an address. Every address needs to be discovered. And that discovery happens almost instantly. Not because the internet is simple, but because specialized systems have spent decades learning how to answer one question. Where should this request go? That answer is where our journey truly begins.
Every website has a name, easy for humans, almost useless for computers. Machines communicate differently. They use numerical addresses, known as IP addresses. That creates a problem. Humans remember names. Machines remember numbers. Someone must translate between the two. That responsibility belongs to DNS, the Domain Name System, often described as the phone book of the internet. But today's DNS is far more intelligent than a traditional phone book. It answers billions of requests every day, across every continent, within milliseconds. Without DNS, the modern internet would feel almost impossible to use. You would need to memorize numbers instead of names. Every website, every application, every online service would become dramatically more difficult to reach. Most people never think about DNS because it almost never asks for attention. It simply answers the question, where should this request go? And then the journey continues.
Once the destination is known, your request leaves your device. It reaches your home router, then your modem, then your internet service provider. This is the first moment your request enters the global internet. From here, your data joins millions of other requests, streaming movies, video calls, business transactions, online gaming, cloud backups, artificial intelligence. Everything moves together, across the same infrastructure, at extraordinary speed. To us, it feels private, but in reality, our request has become part of something much larger, a living network serving billions of people simultaneously. And somehow, every request still finds its own destination. That doesn't happen by luck. It happens because another invisible system is already making decisions, choosing routes, avoiding congestion, searching for the fastest possible path. Because on the internet, the shortest route isn't always the best one.
Most people imagine the internet as one straight line. It isn't. Every request has choices, thousands of them. At every major intersection, routers make decisions. Where should this request go next? Which path is available? Which connection is faster? Which route is overloaded? These decisions happen automatically, millions of times, every second. No human controls each request. No operator manually guides your data. The network constantly evaluates itself, adjusting, redirecting, optimizing. If one path becomes unavailable, another immediately replaces it, often before anyone notices. The internet isn't fast because every connection is perfect. It's fast because every connection has alternatives. Resilience is built into the journey itself.
Many people imagine the internet traveling through satellites. In reality, most international internet traffic travels somewhere unexpected, the bottom of the ocean. Thousands of kilometers beneath the waves, fiber optic cables connect continents together, almost invisible, protected by layers of engineering, quietly carrying enormous amounts of information. Every email, every cloud backup, every online purchase, every video call, every streamed movie may cross one of these underwater highways. The ocean has become one of the busiest digital corridors on Earth, not with ships, but with light. Tiny pulses of light, moving through glass fibers at extraordinary speed. The modern internet is often described as wireless, but its foundation is surprisingly physical.
Eventually, your request reaches its destination, but it still hasn't reached the website. First, it meets another system, the load balancer. Think of it as a traffic controller. Not every server should receive every request. Some are busy, some are idle, some are preparing updates, some are handling completely different tasks. The load balancer quietly decides which server can respond most efficiently. That decision happens in milliseconds. Then, the selected server begins working. It locates the page, retrieves the data, builds the response. Sometimes it also communicates with databases, authentication services, payment systems, search engines, recommendation engines, and dozens of internal APIs. What appears to be one website is often hundreds of specialized systems working together. The page you requested doesn't simply exist, it is assembled in real time.
At this point, most people believe the journey is over. The server has your request. The website has been found. Everything should appear. But something even more interesting is about to happen, because modern websites rarely work alone. Before a single page reaches your screen, multiple systems begin talking to each other. Databases, authentication services, content delivery networks, analytics platforms, security filters, application programming interfaces, invisible conversations happening faster than human perception. The page you are waiting for is actually the result of hundreds of silent collaborations. And that hidden cooperation is what we'll uncover next.
A modern website is rarely one system. It is an ecosystem. One request creates many more. The homepage may ask a database for content. An authentication service verifies your identity. A recommendation engine searches your history. An analytics platform records anonymous activity. A payment service prepares secure transactions. A notification service checks pending messages. An image service delivers optimized files. An artificial intelligence model may even personalize the experience. All of these systems communicate independently. Most conversations never reach your screen. They happen behind the interface, quietly, automatically, continuously. The website you see is only the final presentation. The real work happens backstage.
Now, imagine this entire journey taking 5 seconds. It would feel slow. 10 seconds. Most people would leave. 20 seconds. Many would assume the website is broken. Modern users measure time differently, not in minutes, but in milliseconds. A delay almost too small to notice can change behavior. Businesses understand this. Engineers understand this. Infrastructure understands this. That is why optimization never stops. Data is stored closer to users. Images are compressed. Requests are reduced. Responses are cached. Traffic is balanced. Automation predicts demand before it arrives. The fastest website is usually the one doing the most work before you even click.
Perhaps the most surprising discovery is that your click never travels alone. It is accompanied by thousands of invisible decisions: routing decisions, security decisions, performance decisions, storage decisions, automation decisions. Every one of them working toward the same objective, delivering one simple experience: a web page. We often admire beautiful websites, elegant applications, modern interfaces, but those are only the visible results. The real achievement is the invisible cooperation underneath. The internet is not remarkable because computers exist. It is remarkable because millions of independent systems have learned to work together. That cooperation is what transformed a global network into the foundation of modern civilization.
The next time you open a website, remember what you no longer see: the search for an address, the journey across networks, the underwater cables, the intelligent routers, the cloud platforms, the automated decisions, the synchronized databases, the invisible conversations. Thousands of operations compressed into a single moment. Technology often appears magical only because someone else has already solved the complexity. The internet did not become simple. It became beautifully organized.
Modern software teams rarely begin from nothing. They begin with foundations, reliable frameworks, scalable interfaces, production-ready dashboards, reusable components, automation modules, infrastructure designed to grow. Building everything from scratch is rarely the objective. Building intelligently is. For viewers interested in exploring production-ready digital resources similar to those used throughout today's software industry, you'll find carefully selected references in the description below.
One click, one request, one destination. That is all we ever notice. But beneath every simple action, an extraordinary system quietly comes to life. The internet has never been a collection of websites. It is a collection of cooperation between machines, between networks, between people, and between ideas. In our next episode, we'll travel deeper, beyond the click, beyond the network, into the buildings that never sleep, the data centers powering the modern world. Until then, keep looking beyond the screen, because the most important technology is usually the one you never see. This is Nexnet, inside the modern internet.